On this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast, just say no.
Welcome to the Crushing Debt Podcast with your host, Florida attorney Shawn, where our goal is to help you get rid of the financial bullies in your life.
So welcome back to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast. My name is Shawn, owner and founder of Yesner Law. George Corbello, your and now my financial coach, are here with me again. Welcome, George.
Hello to everyone. How are you doing, buddy? That's a loaded question.
Yeah, how long are these episodes supposed to be? No, things are going well. A little bit stressed, but nothing I can't overcome. Nothing I don't have a good support system here to help me overcome. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Kids in college. She's doing extremely well. So go UCF. Sorry, I know it's
UCF
funny.
Knights.
Yes, so very, very nice. I think there's a game coming soon that I want to try and visit. But kids are doing well. She's doing awesome. My youngest is in high school, and she's causing trouble there. But she's doing extremely well. I'm looking forward to. She's in a play. Musical of the Addams Family. So here in St. Pete. So I'm excited about that. That's coming up soon too.
Who's she playing?
I think right now she's just cast ensemble now. So she's working on moving up in the world, but she loves musicals and she enjoys those things. So
nice. I love Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, of course.
I've seen Phantom of the Opera a bunch of times. A Chorus Line is also, I think, a cool musical. And I've always wanted to catch Jersey Boys.
Jersey Boys is great.
I've heard tremendous things. I've never gotten to see it. So if I ever get the opportunity, if they ever come local back here to Tampa, I might try to.
Yeah, I'm into Anything Goes was great. I just saw Frozen, the musical, but it was awesome. I have to say, it was really good. And then on top of that, I would say probably something controversial. I hated Cats. Please tell me that was the worst. I saw it and I was like, what is happening?
I've never seen. I know the movie had terrible reviews. Terrible reviews. I know the story. I don't think I've ever seen it though.
Lucky you. Seriously, keep up that. I think you'll live a fruitful life if that continues today.
Thank you. Well, watch this transition. Speaking of Frozen, something that George and I talked about is just to let it go.
See, I like that. That was pretty good. I like it.
There you go. So before we get there real quick, I want to talk about our editor, Mark Purvis. He's got a website called legacyspotlight.com. And basically what Mark is doing, he's taking his 20-plus years as being a videographer and Emmy Award-winning videographer, editor, the editor of our show. But what he's doing is he's capturing your memories, either capturing your memories for future generations or capturing previous generations' memories for you and future generations. So if you've got stories to tell, if you've got stories you want to tell to your kids or grandkids, or stories you want to capture from your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents, go to legacyspotlight.com, sign up with Mark. He'll go out there, he'll make it fun, he'll make it interesting, and he'll start preserving your memories. But back to Let It Go. So let's see how I want to tell this story kind of on the fly. So I'll admit, I am a little bit stressed out. Things are going great. My wife is doing well. I'm doing okay. Boys are doing great.
Good.
We are now fully into the soccer season for my older son. We're into the flag football season for my younger son. We're fully into Cub Scouts for my younger son.
You get the theme, right, guys? There's a lot on the plate.
A lot going on here. I've got to go to either Walmart or Target or one of these stores when we're done. We've got our first overnight camping trip coming up for Cub Scouts, and my son gets to start using his Cub Scouts knife. I have to give my son a weapon now, voluntarily.
Get some Band-Aids while you're at it, too.
Voluntarily, I've got to give him a weapon now. On top of all of that other stuff, we've got the podcast, which I love doing. Never going to stop doing the podcast. Got the law firm going on, have to run the business, have to run and take care of the family. I've also got all the networking stuff that I'm doing. And, quite honestly, I'm starting to feel the weight.
A little overwhelmed there, my friend.
Starting to feel the weight.
I feel like I'm not doing anything. What I think I'm going to have to add on my plate just so I can compare myself to Shawn here.
And so don't get me wrong. Everything that I'm doing here is designed either to support the family or support the law firm or both. So, for example, as this episode comes out, I will be the acting vice president of our networking group. But that networking group, the B&I networking group, I've talked about it before. That's where I met George.
Yep.
B&I generates a third or more almost a half of the law firm's revenue on an annual basis.
Right.
So it's not something I'm gonna give up, and because it generates so much for the law firm, I enjoy giving back to it. Those of you may also know that I'm the president of my homeowners association back home. But again, I've gotten now one of the realtors on the board has given me business. One of the realtors who is also very well known within the community has started talking to me about different issues related to business and the law firm. I've got other people from within the community. I've gotten referrals from the attorneys that represent the community because they don't represent the individual homeowners.
Right.
So they're sending me referrals now as well. So a lot of the stuff that I do, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I enjoy doing it, but it's all designed, unless it's something strictly for the family, like flag football. And even there, people say with soccer, I'm very, very involved in my older son's soccer team. But even then, all the communications that go out to the parents go out on my work email. So all the soccer parents know that I'm an attorney, and they know what I practice, and they see the ads for the podcast and the emails for the podcast, and they see all that kind of stuff. So everything I'm doing is designed to either help the family or help the law firm, or in certain cases do both. But I guess it was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. I got roped into a group text, and the group text was to do something nice for one of our mutual friends. And it was a great thought, and it was a great gesture, but it was the proverbial straw. And literally, I got some coaching from George while we were sitting here trying to get today's episode planned, and confided in you that, I don't want to do it. It's not that I don't care about the person that is the target of these well wishes. It's not that I don't want to do something nice for this person. It's just that it's enough.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I'll let you take it over.
No, dude, I sometimes, we have to take on the world. And I'm still like, wow, Shawn, you got a lot of things to do itself. I'm going to try and pick up a few other items from my life here. But sometimes, how much energy can you provide, and give out into the world itself? These are situations, and again, saying no to our money situations, right? We would say like, oh, I need to donate to this or do these kind of things itself. There are limits to what we can do and what we can provide. And for you, it's like, I felt like it was like a stress. It looked like it was stress. Like, oh my God, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I do the, and I'm like, these people, they know you. You're not coming from a bad place.
Well, and it was a little bit stressful. And part of it was I didn't want to say no. And
right.
For the listeners out there, I'm kind of intentionally being a little bit vague about what the issue was, only because some of the people that are involved may listen to the show, and I don't want them to think that I'm talking negatively about anybody.
He's lost some friends, people.
Yeah, apparently. Hopefully we don't. I don't mind losing friends. I don't want to lose listeners.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Keep it coming.
I got enough friends. But losing listeners, I think, would be a problem. So I'm intentionally kind of being vague about the subject of it. But even you and I talked about, at what point do you say no? At what point? Because it was something to contribute financially for a friend of ours. And it's not that I couldn't afford to do it. It was just, I got enough going on.
Right.
I got stuff going on at home. I've got medical bills coming in. I've got stuff going on at the office. I've got all the stuff for the kids to pay for. It's not that I couldn't afford to do it. It was just another $50, another $100, another $25. So I don't know. I appreciate it because when I emailed or when I texted back and said, look, I'm sorry, I can't participate, the response I got back was, okay.
Oh, wait, they didn't tell you, oh, you're such a terrible person, get out of this. No.
They didn't throw me out of the group.
Yeah. Well, that'll be later.
Yeah, that'll be later.
No, but that's the thing. You're trying to be nice and stuff, and you don't want any type of negative, kind of event that comes from this. I think sometimes you just have to kind of say no in regards to this. I'll give you another scenario. Like, hey, there's a difference between like, hey, my brother is getting married, and you're in the wedding party. Do you say yes? Do you say no when it comes to those commitments itself? And would it be different if it was like a third cousin? Yeah. Same situation itself. Is it hard to say no to either one of those situations? And I would say, let me add the caveat of if there's a money situation, what is our answer? Because I know what we feel is obligated to say yes because, it's family, it's my brother, I have to be there. But where do you draw the line when it comes to then financially? When can I say yes or no from that perspective?
And to add to that, what if it is a yes, but yes, I want to go, and yes, I can afford to go, but now you layer on, but I got to bring the kids with me.
Right.
And I got to then either pay for a babysitter to watch them for the 2, 3, 4 days that we're out of town.
Right.
For me, it's tough. I've got one sister, and so I was a groomsman in her wedding, obviously. It wasn't that far away. It was in Tallahassee, those of you that would be surprised by that. It was up in Tallahassee. We went. It wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, I get it. If I had a friend of mine who said it's a destination wedding and we're going overseas and it's going to be a couple grand to go, I don't know. I guess I'd have to look at the budget, and if it were outside the budget, I think if they were really your friend and you said, look, man, I'm sorry, it's just outside of my budget right now, either they would understand.
Correct.
Or maybe they'd chip in to help you afford it if they really wanted you there.
That would be nice. Yeah. Sign me up for that one.
Yeah, I got to get better friends, I guess.
Exactly. Elon Musk, hey, I'm hiring friends.
Since I just lost a bunch, maybe I'll be able to get some more rich ones.
I like it. But it's a great point. But here's the thing: it's the feeling that comes with it. Like, oh my God, is this going to be am I a horrible person because I said no? And right. I'll give you another scenario. If you think about it, like we talk about friends and family and stuff like that, but we do this with our kids. How many activities can the kids be in? What can we, because it's not just financially, it's our time. How many, dude, if all day Saturday you're going from one event to another, dude, who's exhausted? That's exhausting, let alone the financial implication.
We're still trying to figure it out. So maybe you can live coach me on the recording here, but the end of October, I told you we're getting ready to go on my younger son's first overnight Cub Scouts camping trip. Now, it's local. It's about 15 minutes away from the house, from what I understand. But that Friday night is flag football practice, but it's also the first Friday night of the camping trip.
Okay.
That Saturday is our crew golf tournament that I'm on the committee for, that I'm on the board for.
Oh, boy.
But it's also the whole day of activities at camp. That day is also potentially flag football games. That day is also possibly my older son's first soccer scrimmage before his season starts. And then, so we got the Saturday overnight, and then Sunday is Sunday school. So now we're trying to decide. No, what the counselors told me, what the Cub Scouts told me, is that you can come and go as you please. So it's not like you get there Friday night and you're trapped at the campsite until you leave Sunday morning. So I think
when they lock the key and the gates close, right?
Mm-hmm. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip football Friday. We're gonna go Friday night, hang out, set up camp out. Saturday, I'm gonna leave and head to the golf tournament. Let my wife hang out at the campsite with the two boys and do the Cub Scout activities because both boys are invited.
Right.
So do the Cub Scout activities with the boys. I'll then come back when the golf tournament's over. Spend Saturday night at the camp. My wife will then leave so that she can get, because she's teaching Sunday school now, so she'll leave so that she can get to Sunday school Sunday morning. And then if she has to or wants to take one or both of the boys with her. And then Sunday I'll pack up the camp and head home. And I think that's how we're going to do it.
Breathe now. That's good. That's good. When you're saying no, there's obviously something you're giving up. And that's what you can't do it all. And I think the pressure there is it's good that you're talking it through because it's not like all this stress of like, well, who am I going to disappoint if we don't go on Friday?
Well, and we got to say no to somebody. And, and I think what this also tells us is going into next year, because a lot of it is, this is my son's first year in Scouts. So we didn't quite know what the time commitment was going to be.
Right.
It's his second year in soccer and second year in flag football, so we kind of knew what those commitments were going to be, but we didn't know how to layer Scouts on top of that. So now that we know, but yeah, it's all about saying no.
Yes.
And
yes. No. Yes.
But knowing that that's okay.
And it is okay. And these are tough decisions. Here's the thing, Shawn. If you're in a bit of a pinch when it comes to money and these kind of things, these kind of decisions start to even compound more. Like you get this stress of like, okay, well, how am I going to pay for this? Or how am I going to, and we start going into the deep end, right? Like, oh my God, I'm a bad parent because now I can't afford my kid to do these kind of things. Or I didn't make the event for the wedding and now all of the in-laws don't like you at Thanksgiving. There's some tough things that we have to do. At the end of the day though, it's like, what is right for you. We still trying to, and all of this, it's more of like, how are other people going to feel? At the end of the day, how are you feeling? Yeah. Are you okay with it? It's a decision you need to make. You own it and go from there.
I remember I had a client who would buy Amway products. He loved Amway products, and not anything to the extreme.
Right.
But he bought toiletries from them. He bought, and I've had a couple of their energy drinks. I don't sell Amway. I'm not going to sell Amway, but I do like.
Here's a link.
But here's my link. No, I actually don't have a link, but I do like their energy drinks. Right. So if you want them, let me know. I can connect you to the people that sell them to me. Yeah, but this client of mine was like, I want to buy the energy drinks, and I want to buy the supplements, and I want to buy the this, and I want to buy the that. And I looked at his budget. I know it's $50 here, and it's $30 there, and it's $50 there, but tell him no. Tell them no for 1 month and save that money and see what it'll do for you. And it's okay.
I do that with, obviously we do that, but on the business side, you're not going to be able to maybe market as much or do buy the extra office space or or hire the new person, whatever it is. These are things that even on the business side, you have to make those tough decisions when it comes to money and what we're doing each day too.
Yeah, and I do that a lot too in the business. I decided long ago when I had the other law firm, we sponsored everything on the planet.
Right.
If it was something that needed a sponsorship, we were in. And what I eventually learned is the people that want you to sponsor, what happens is when you sponsor and you don't show up, they start to look at you like a empty checkbook. Yeah, I'm getting the signage on the hole at the golf tournament, but if I'm not there to play golf and talk to the people, I'm really not getting. It's a sign.
Yeah, it's a sign.
For those of you that have been to golf tournaments, what was the hole sponsor at hole number 4? If they weren't there to work their hole, who were they? And no one will be able to tell me that answer. Now, I remember going to the golf tournament a couple of years ago for the crew, and Taylor Financial. Adam Taylor's a friend of mine. He's in the crew. He's a financial advisor.
Nice.
He has a golf cannon. It's really cool.
Okay.
So you pay him, a couple of bucks, and you get up there, and it's literally a cannon mounted on the back of his truck. And you load the golf ball in it, and you press a button, you aim where you want it to go, you shoot the golf ball, and it's for the longest, most accurate shot is what they raise money for.
Nice.
And all their money goes to the charity as well. But it's a golf cannon. Now, I remember that.
Yeah, that's
I remember that because he was there. I remember that because he participated. I remember all that.
Oh, and it's a huge weapon on a car. Why not?
And having a well, it only shoots golf balls. But still, those. Yeah, I guess those could be.
You could load a hot dog.
Those could be. But my point is, he was there, and so I implemented a policy a long time ago that I won't sponsor if I can't attend the event.
Totally makes sense.
So, and I've had people hit me up for sponsors with all the running I do, with golf tournaments and whatnot. I've had people hit me up for sponsorships, and if I can't attend the race that morning, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sponsor it. Because although I want to support you and I want to support your charity, giving you the money when I can't be there to get the networking advantage from it doesn't really do me any good.
That is so true. And it's funny, once again, it's the hard decisions, but once you start thinking it through, the stress is what we want to eliminate as part of that. And it's okay to say no because it's what's important to you, what's important to your business. And so, if someone's not going to like you afterward or look at you a little differently from that perspective, can't control that. Right. I'm in the boat, at least now in my golden years, starting to learn that, whoa, boy, I can't care about other people's feelings in regards to that, because at the end of the day, it's all about, it's all about what's good for me and my family.
Yeah, I totally agree. And honestly, I mean, literally this topic came out of a conversation that George and I had minutes before I fired up the microphone. But I can tell you, I said no. I said it in a polite way.
Yep.
I didn't say it in a way that, I didn't send a 6-page text. I just sent a very...
Thank you for that. Yeah, guys, keep it short and to the point. That's a great idea.
It was, thank you, I really appreciate it, but I'm sorry I can't help. I got back a response that said, okay. And I instantly felt better.
Yeah. And he's still sitting here and still smiling and doing his thing. That's a good thing.
Well,
hey, you guys, you can also put this, this is where I get the most part. Like if you're in an office, again, most of us, work for an office or even, and you get Susan's having, or Chris is having, or this guy is having a birthday. We all chip in, or we all these kind of, and where do we do? Like, am I obligated? Do I feel, especially with at the office, I don't have friends, they're colleagues.
So my dad had a rule at his office. So my dad's office, there were 4 partners, I want to say 2 or 3 CPA associates, and however many in the secretarial pool. So probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 people at my dad's office.
Okay.
And they were all right around the same age. And so they made a rule that none of them were going to solicit their kids' schools' fundraisers. Because if they did, and all 12 of them brought in, buy my Girl Scout cookies, buy my son's popcorn, buy my kids' raffle, buy my this.
I forgot about those dang cookies.
All they would be doing is spending money on each other's kids' stuff.
Right.
So they just up front said, none of us are going to bring in it. So when I had to do fundraising for band, or my sister had to do fundraising, whatever, we couldn't really hit up my dad's office. We had to find other places to go.
You have to build relationships with those individuals and then actually, hit them up on the side.
Well, and looking back at it, I think it was my dad's way of addressing the conversation we're having right now.
Exactly.
He didn't want to put his employees, he didn't want to put his partners, and he didn't want to be put in a situation where
people are feeling bad. It's like, oh, I didn't contribute. Oh, this person didn't contribute. That means they don't, they don't like them. It turns into this again. I went to high school once. I don't need to go again. We're good from that perspective, guys. The one thing I would say learn really around this is it's okay to say no. We can practice. Saying no doesn't make you a bad parent or a bad friend or a bad family member. At the end of the day, look at your situation, whether it's financial. For me, I look at it as the financial, right? It's okay to say no when you're not in that position to be able to contribute something. It's okay. Find ways to do that.
Yeah, and I think beyond that, I agree. I mean, Crushing Debt podcast. So from a financial perspective, yes, say no. Beyond that, I guess even I got to start to learn that it's okay to say no to stuff.
To things in life, yeah, Shawn, as much as you are a superhero, and I see that you have your Superman, T-shirt underneath your FSU here. There you go. Do yourself a favor, and all of us, is again, being productive doesn't mean that you're working 24 hours a day. Your time is limited. As much as we'd like to think we're going to live forever, we still need time for ourselves. We need time for our family. You're not going to be able to do all the things we want. Do the things that are valuable to you. And that's for me. I start, again, a little old now, learning that as I get a little older and wiser.
Well, and again, it's okay to say no. And you don't want.
Well, except to so, honey, my wife. I'm not saying no. Don't worry. We're gonna go out later. It's all good.
Yeah, that's. I think that is the one thing you can't say no to. Is if you can say no to your kids unless it's something that needs to be done. But wow, other than that,
how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling better
because Shawn's he's on the pillow right now. He's on the we're doing a therapy session here for.
I'm feeling better. It's gosh, this has been a rough stretch of a couple of weeks here, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm feeling better. I'm feeling good. Things are going to be okay.
They're gonna be okay, and if you need help, say no, and just say, one less thing to worry about. It's. I give you permission, my friend. Go do it. I give everyone the permission. Say no to one thing each day, so you don't have to be so stressed about. Just don't say no to not paying your bills. Do pay your bills.
Pay your bills, right?
And save money, and things like that.
It's like the opposite. What was that Jim Carrey movie? Was it Yes Man? Was that Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Yes Man, where he had to say yes to everything.
Well, it was Liar. That was he couldn't lie.
Liar,
that was good too.
Lie.
The Yes Man was the other.
He was a great attorney. But this conversation is kind of the opposite of Yes Man. So where the premise of Yes Man is he has to say yes to everything. Maybe we do make a No Man.
Well, we'll do another episode where we say, what do we say yes to? And we go from there.
We could do another episode. What can you say yes to?
I like it.
Although I think saying yes is going to be things like making more money.
The easy. There you go. Passive income.
Spending less money.
I like it. I like where you're going already.
We can say yes to those things. So before we go, we do want to say thank you to our sponsor, our longtime sponsor, Sam Cohen of Attorneys First Insurance. He writes errors and omissions, E&O, malpractice. All that is the same thing for attorneys and title companies. So a great way to support us is to support Sam. A great way to support Sam is to make an introduction if you are or if you know an attorney or title company that needs to renew their malpractice coverage. You can send them to sam@attorneysfirst.com. Also the website, attorneysfirst.com. Sam can write anywhere in the country. I know he's got to focus on Florida, Texas, and now Alaska, but he can write anywhere in the country. And so thank you, Sam, for all of your support. Another way to support us is the Patreon page. You can go to patreon.com/crushingdebt. We really appreciate everyone who listens. It is free to listen. It will continue to be free to listen. But if you want some more stuff, we're recording background, which we'll perfect at some point. And
it's funny, guys. Trust, I promise you.
And George drops F-bombs that he may or may not edit out.
I'm from New York. What do you want?
He may or may not edit out. We'll see. You can be explicit on for people to pay on Patreon. But, Patreon, if you want to support us a little bit more, we would appreciate it. You don't have to give anything other than your ears in listening to us, but if you want to give more, certainly there's ways to do it that way. Also, I've been checking out, I'm still not on TikTok, but I've been checking out the Curbelo Financial TikTok
I
page.
appreciate that.
So there's some really cool, I thought it was all going to be crushing debt videos, but there's other stuff on there. So.
There's other things of, my wife is finding ways to humiliate me on the internet. So
it's awesome.
But I'm trying to do, again, it's all about tips, obviously conversation, there's some jokes. Again, it's just getting the word out in regards to how to use your money and how we behave with money. So let's have fun doing it while we're out there.
Yep, absolutely. So I think that'll do it for this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast. We hope that at the end of the month you have more money rather than at the end of the money you have more month, and we will talk to you in next week's episode.
If you have questions that you think would make a great topic for a future episode, please email Shawn or connect with us on social media. Shawn Yesner and Yesner Law, PL, are Florida licensed attorneys. The information contained in this week's episode is not a substitute for legal advice. Your situation may differ, especially if you are located somewhere other than the state of Florida. If you have questions, please contact our office or contact a local attorney. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast.